Hello and welcome to my dungeon. So as the title says, I went to the ER. It's kind of complicated and I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't want to, TMI you. But one thing led to the other and something was wrong with me and I called my health insurance and I was like, hey, I would like to make an appointment with my doctor. And she's like, hey, go to the emergency room. And I was like, I have only gone to the emergency room a couple of times in my life. The first time I was born. The second time I was really, really sick. I could not stop throwing up. My parents were like, what's wrong with her? Took me to the ER. The next time I went was like 2013. I thought I broke my foot. My uncle and aunt had to carry me out of my apartment and take me to the ER. My foot swelled up like a balloon, it was all fun, different colors. And the doctor was like, yeah, you broke something. You definitely did. It looks bad. X-ray came back, nothing was wrong with it. Not really sure how that happened. Meanwhile, Thor's bathing himself. The next time I went to the ER was when I thought I had a brain aneurysm a couple years ago, and then I just got diagnosed with critical migraines. So when the person on the phone was like, you need to go to the ER, I was like, I don't really think it's that serious. Like, I'm not in pain right now, but I'm in pain other times. And she goes, yeah, you need to go. Something, you could have an infection and like it could be to sepsis, it could do this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I have plans today. Can I go tomorrow? She's like, no, which meant I had to take my dumb little self to the ER, and I just felt like it was just silly. Like, I just thought it was dumb. Like, why was I going to the ER? I wasn't in pain at the moment. The problem was, so listen, I couldn't eat and I couldn't drink water, and anytime I did, I felt like I was gonna throw up. It wasn't like it was gonna happen, but it felt like I would eat something, even just something small, and I would get so nauseous. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I would eat something and then I'd have like an intense pain on my left side, like over here. I knew something was wrong with my stomach, but it felt like my stomach, like that there was too much something, like I couldn't eat anything. Like I just felt like I couldn't eat anything, couldn't drink anything, didn't know what was wrong, something was wrong, didn't know what. Looked up colon cancer, got scared, it's like this whole thing. I mostly wanted to call just to schedule an appointment with my doctor, because my doctor knows me, she knows the medications I'm on, we've talked about stuff, and like, she is a great doctor, so I wanted to, book with her. And instead this lady was like, go to the ER. And I was like, I don't want to go to the ER. Can I go to the urgent care? She's like, no, go to the ER. And so I was like, well, what do I do? So I asked one of my friends, I'm like, hey, what do you think? And they're like, you had a doctor tell you to go to the ER, go to the ER. And I was like, you don't understand. It's the emergency room and I'm an American. Like, listen, like, yes, I have health insurance, but I still have to pay. There's a copay and then there's surprise bills. We all know. But I was a little freaked out at this point. Had the doctor tell me I needed to go, had friends telling me I needed to go. I had been in pain for like at least like 2 weeks at this point. So I go to the ER at like 11:30 a.m. I had plans for the whole day, but I was like, maybe I'll get out. Maybe they'll be like, you're fine, go away. You're a woman, you're fine. You're starting your period next week. Pff, it's just cramps. Like I was expecting, all of that. It's not what happened. So I go in and surprisingly, the emergency room was very quiet, very empty. And I was like, nice. I thought it was going to be full of people. Don't ever think that. Don't ever, listen, let me tell you something. When you go into the emergency room, don't ever think to yourself, because I know for them, like healthcare workers, like it's a curse to say, wow, it's really quiet tonight. You don't ever say that. As a person, just don't think it. Don't think it. Don't think, wow, it's really empty in here. Don't think it. Because what may happen is that someone may come in with their young child with a little throw up bag and be like, yeah, my daughter ate peanut butter and now she's been throwing up nonstop. For those of you who don't know, vomit is my biggest fear. Whether it's me doing it, someone else doing it, a cartoon doing it, I don't like it. I don't like being talked about it. I don't like it happening. I don't like seeing it on the floor. I don't like hearing it. I don't want nothing. I want nothing to do with it. Even in like Family Guy, or if it's like, I don't know, a cartoon where they're throwing up rainbows, I can't do it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I can't handle it. So you can imagine my fear when this mom walks in with a little barf bag. It's empty, luckily empty, for her child. Like, fair, good mom not to throw up on the floor. But like still, for me, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. They took my vitals and had me sit in the waiting room, but I had like a blood pressure thing and then I had like a finger thing and it was like, I was just sitting there with stuff on me. And I was like, they also too, they gave me a little vial that I had to pee in for obviously probably a pregnancy test. But like, for one, not pregnant. Two, I hadn't drank water or anything for like a day and a half. I hadn't eaten in like a day and a half because when I did, it hurt. And so I was like, listen, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pee. Like, I don't know if they're like, well, you have to try. I'm like, I haven't had water. Because when I told the guy at the front desk, I was like, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, this is what I'm dealing with, this. Then he's like, have you been dealing with this? And I was like, actually, yeah. And he goes, all right, and wrote it down. I was like, okay. So at this point, I was like, maybe I should be here. Maybe this was the right call. So I'm waiting, and then they're like, okay, Caitlin. So I'm like, oh, yes, here, haha. So then they walk me in, and there's a room, and they're like, get on the bed, undress, do this, blah, 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 and get on the bed. And I was like, okay. I have my little gown on and, you know, it's open in the back. So I'm just sitting there naked and afraid. But anyway, so I'm just sitting there and then they come in, like, okay, we're gonna take some blood tests and, you know, then the doctor's gonna come in and talk to you. And I was like, okay. So they came in, they put the little blood vial in my arm and then they left and then the blah, 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 blah. And then the guy came in, was like, what's going on? I told him and he goes, okay, I've been dealing with this and this and this. I was like, yeah, but like the thing is, I'm not in pain right now. Like I called and I was doing my makeup and I feel perfectly fine. And like she said I had to come here and I said, can I do it another time? And she said no. And then I had to do this and I said I could go to urgent care. She said no, I needed to come here and like I feel fine, like I'm not in pain. And it was on this side and he was like, all right, I'm not gonna write that down in your review. And I was like, okay. Like I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I had one friend telling me, tell them you're in pain. Tell them you're in so much pain. And I was like, I don't want to tell them I'm in pain when I'm not. Like, I feel like if they're going to diagnose me with something wrong or they're going to want to run different tests, like, I was a little scared. And I was like, I think it's just, like, maybe, like, my colon or, like, my stomach. Like, maybe there's, like, an infection somewhere. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't feel sick unless I ate something. And then if I ate something or drank something, then I had a theory maybe it was my water bottle. Like, maybe I hadn't washed my water bottle in a while and maybe there was mold in it. But I looked and there wasn't. I was like, maybe it's my water filter. Like, I don't know. I've been trying to figure out what was wrong for a while. And so then I was, you know, go to the doctor, see what happens. And I thought maybe they're going to, like, swab me or something. I don't know. So I'm sitting there waiting. And I was like, oh, it's just, you know, it's kind of bored, but it's, you know, I came here, got here like 11:30 and now it's 2:30 and still waiting. Yep, still waiting. And so then the guy came in, he's like, hey, so we're gonna do your blood and blah, blah, blah. So he felt around my stomach, he said everything felt fine. And then he's like, yeah, so what I really want to do is I want to get an ultrasound of your gallbladder. And I was like, gallbladder? And he's like, yeah, because it's on this side. And, you know, a lot of people, they have, you know, if they have gallstones, they blah, 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 and then they have like a gallbladder attack and then that's why it hurts when they eat. And I was like, okay. And he's like, but it's usually like on the right side, so and yours is on the left side. And you know, the reason why the doctor on the phone wanted you to come in today is she thought you were feeling pain in the bottom left. You're feeling it more in like the upper left, like, you know, kind of where your stomach is. I was like, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I told her like if my stomach would hurt and he's like, yeah, well, I guess, you know, it's kind of hard to understand over the phone. And I was like, yeah, I get that. And then we were like chatting back and forth and he's like, yeah, so I really want to do the ultrasound. It's probably gonna take like an hour or two. And I was like, an hour or two, because I had plans and I was like, okay. And he goes, well, what do you need to like, we could schedule it outpatient. And I was like, does that mean it's not in my insurance? He goes, no, it just means it'll probably be in a couple weeks from now. And I was like, he's like, or you could just wait hour, 2 hours. Sometimes, you know, we get the ultrasound faster than the blood results, so it's up to you. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll wait. And so I waited an hour and 45 minutes and I just kept waiting, hadn't eaten this entire time, hadn't had any water this entire time. I was just sitting there scrolling on TikTok and Reddit hoping for the best and wondering what is going on. So then the nurse comes in and she goes, so have you been seen yet? And I was like, and she was like, oh, okay, I'll be right back. So she comes back, she's like, hey, they called, they're gonna come get you in a minute, and so just sit still for a little bit, and then, you know, I'm so sorry about the wait. And I was like, no, it's okay, you know, it's ER, I get it, you know, I literally walked in, was like, I'm not in pain, but I was told to come here, you know, like, so then, you know, 15 minutes goes by, then a guy comes in, he goes, hey, like, are you here for the ultrasound? And I was like, yeah, and he goes, okay. And so I thought he was gonna have me stand up, and then we were gonna walk to the ultrasound. Wrong. My bed was on wheels, and so I was laying there like this, like, but imagine me laying, I'm like, this is so awkward. Like, this is so awkward. I wanted to be like, listen, you don't have to push me. Like, I can walk. Like, I'm perfectly fine. Like, it doesn't hurt when I walk. I'm fine. Like, but it's just that my butt would have been out, but you know, it was fine. Anyway, so we got wheeled down there, all wheeled and wheeled and wheeled. I keep wheeling. And I was passing by random people that were walking around in the hospital. I'm like, this is so embarrassing, you know? This is so embarrassing. So then I get to the ultrasound room and they're like, okay, we're going to have you here, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. So I'm waiting. And then the ultrasound guy comes in and he goes, okay, so here's what we're going to do. And he was like, telling me, and then he didn't tell me, I've never gotten an ultrasound before. Well, I've gotten lady ultrasounds. Those feel weird. I've never had like an ultrasound. So I'm laying like this and he puts it on, like the gel on the ultrasound thing, and puts it here. Why was the gel hot? That was so weird. Anyway, so then he's like feeling around. Then he has me lay on my left side and he's like, you know, feeling around. And he's dead quiet. And I was like, he sees something. And like, cause the thing is like, you know, if there's nothing there, like, okay, you know, that's it. But he was quiet and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. You know, the good news is I don't have any pain. But then I started thinking and I was like, what if that is it? What if I do have pain? And what if it's just on the wrong side? And I just start spiraling. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you this napkin, but you can just use this towel to wipe yourself off. And I was like, hello? He walks out and then someone else comes in to wheel me back to my room. And here's the thing, right? Fun fact, remember how I said I hate throw up? I hate the ER because there's throw up, right? Like people go there when they're super, super sick. It's the emergency room. It's an emergency if you can't stop throwing up, right? Or if you're a little kid and you're allergic to peanut butter and you have peanut butter and you throw up. Anyway, I don't like going there because of throw up. That's like, I don't like it, right? So as I'm getting wheeled back to my room, I noticed there was 3 EMTs and they all looked really peeved. And there's one standing by like this red stretcher, and it was like a sitting up kind of stretcher. One of them was walking this way and I look at his face and he just looks over it and I'm like, oh, what happened? We're starting to pass the red stretcher and I kind of look over and I see an old lady and she proceeds to start gagging, like retching and gagging. Like she would retch super loud and hard and then gag, and then retch and then gag, and then retch and then gag. And let me tell you, my ears plugged and I started going thing is you ever do like you put your fingers in your ears, you can still kind of hear, but if you wiggle your fingers it just sounds like right. And so I was going just hear in my ears because I could still hear it, and I just down the hall I could still hear it. She was so loud and I was like, one, hate that. 2, what if she was faking and she was doing that the entire ambulance ride? And that's why they looked so angry. Anyway, horrible. It still made me super, super anxious, super nervous. My blood pressure went pew. They're gonna come check my blood pressure again. I want to be like, hey, listen, I have white coat syndrome, which is already, I know, but listen, I hate throw up. And some lady out there was hacking up a third stomach or something. Like it was not a good time and it just made me, you know? And then the doctor comes in and he goes, hey, so your blood results came back and everything looks great. Your liver enzymes, great. Everything's good. Your gallbladder has gallstones. And I was like, actually? And he was like, he's literally doing this. He goes, yeah, I'm gonna have you referred to a surgeon. However, I don't think that's what's causing your pain. I think it may be your stomach somehow, but that's something you're gonna have to do, you know, another time. And I was, you know, obviously I'm in an ER but he was like, I think you should have like, you know, maybe your stomach looked at or something. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I have gallstones. 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 Oh my God, I have gallstones. Like it was like, I was like, that's not something I ever expected because I've never had pain on this side. Like I don't think I have ever had pain on this side ever because your gallbladder's like in here, right? And so I was like, I've never had, but because my liver wasn't irritated, my gallbladder wasn't irritated, like that's why he was like, I don't think it is. I think you just have gallstones. And then he's like, yeah, you know, maybe avoid spicy food, alcohol. So he started telling me like how I don't fit what people look like slash are. People who tend to get gallstones tend to have more like fatty foods, fried foods, and I exercise a lot. I try to eat a little bit healthier. I didn't tell him about the whole like my diet and everything, but judging off of my blood and everything else, he's like, I can tell like you don't fit any of these, you know, things. He said, sometimes people just get stones. We call them stoners. And I was like, well, I started racking my brain because I'm like, how did this happen? How did I get here? So I text my mom. I'm like, hey, do gallstones run in our family? And she goes, no, why? And I sent her a picture of me in the ER and I was like, they do now, surprise. And then I went home and I cried. Well, I got back to the car, sobbed so hard, like to the point where someone probably thought I got diagnosed with something horrible like cancer. And no, I have gallstones. They don't bother me. The problem is I have contamination OCD. I'm a little bit more used to the idea now, but when finding out I have gallstones, I wanted it out, you know, like I need it out. But also the thought of surgery freaks me out. And also to have an organ removed is crazy. An organ that's supposed to be in here. I have to, you know, anyway, I don't know if I have to get it removed. I still am kind of in the dark about a lot of stuff. I got my blood results back and looked at them all myself. They were all healthy. I didn't have pictures of the ultrasound, but the ultrasound said that my bile tube is clear, which is good. And then the walls of my gallbladder are not inflamed, which is also good, which means I'm not having attacks. But I have stones. I don't know how many, I don't know how big. It's just a little weird. But then I started thinking like, you know what, actually kind of what if this adds up? Because I have a lot of indigestion sometimes, and like I can't, if I eat and then I go on a walk, I get really bloated and it's like my body just stops digesting. And I always just thought it was a funny little Kate quirk. I don't think it's a funny little Kate quirk. I don't think my gallbladder works. I don't think it works all that great. But, you know, I scheduled an appointment with a surgeon. I will talk to a surgeon in like July 8th-ish to see like, you know, he'll look at my ultrasound. I'm going to tell him about my digestion issue and then we'll go from there. If you're wondering, Kate, how did you get it? I think I need, you know, I will discuss it with a surgeon. Could be possible that I just got them. Like it could just be a possibility. Also could be a possibility of I've been struggling with an eating disorder since I was 15. And I would sometimes all the time substitute food for a Dr. Pepper because soda kind of kills your appetite. And also too, ADHD, sometimes I would just forget to eat and I would need energy, so I would drink Dr. Pepper. So having no food, soda drink is not really ideal, you know? But again, I'd have to talk to the surgeon about it and see if that's actually something that's a possibility. Also don't know if I need to get removed. I don't know if I've ever had a gallbladder attack. A lot of people are apparently asymptomatic. They don't even know they have them. So time for America. The visit to the ER itself, just with insurance. I have insurance. And it's pretty good insurance. Just a visit to the ER was $350. I don't know if I'm gonna get billed later, which is very scary. I get an email and I'm terrified it's from my insurance saying your bill is ready, because you know, I was in that room for a really long time and I had, you know, an ultrasound done and I spoke to a doctor. So I'm a little nervous. So if you could just, you know, really hope and send juju that I don't get more bills, because the 350 was, whew, you know, that was my adventure at the ER. Wouldn't recommend it, but hey, you know, at least I now know, and at least it's not an emergency. I also too, you know, it's kind of funny because I told the doctor in the ER, I was like, yeah, you know, I've been forcing myself to eat and like trying to hit 67 ounces of water, but like even when I'm not hungry or not thirsty, like I've been forcing it. He's like, yeah, well, that could upset your stomach. And I was like this whole time, I've always told like friends and people, like, listen, my stomach's not hungry. Like I'm not hungry. I'm not gonna force myself to eat if my stomach's not hungry, because if I force myself to eat, it makes my stomach upset. And everyone's like, oh, but you have to eat. You have to eat. Doctor said I didn't. It's funny because I've cut down forcing myself to eat. I cut down forcing myself to drink water. Pain's gone. Pain's gone. I haven't felt the pain in like 7 days. At least they took me serious too. Like that's the other thing, because a lot of people don't get listened to, and I don't know if it's because I was in good spirits. The guy's like, yeah, this girl's, something's wrong. I don't know, because I was like, I don't know why I'm here. He probably would have turned me away. You know, anybody else probably would have turned me away, but he's probably like, this girl's nuts. Like something's a little loose there. He's wrong. He's right. He's wrong, but he's right. But you know, the only thing that's a little loose is my gallbladder. I've been joking saying my gallbladder's Thanos, because I have all the stones. I'll see myself out. Anyways, thanks for listening to me talk about my emergency room story. Don't like it, don't want to go back, but you know, hey, at least I was able to go, you know? But anyways, thanks for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day. Safe travels. Okay, bye!